My name's Skylar Chubak. I'm 24, live in Salt Lake. I practice art and calligraphy. Some of my hobbies would be hiking, riding bikes, children's books, like reading old Victorian era children's literature. I kind of decided I wanted to work on making my own stories or work towards publishing stories, so I started collecting a lot so I could either like reference art from the books or study the way people wrote them so I could write my own. I guess I like collecting art because I like being surrounded by it. I have a lot of art from friends. I'll do art shows and then we'll like trade art, or I'll buy stuff from friends at their art shows, and then I have a lot of art that's like old antiques, I guess. I always go to antique stores and find stuff that I'm interested in. And then lots of script writing art, tons of old calligraphy. I kind of liked graffiti art since I was like really little. Graffiti was one thing that I looked at and I was like, oh man, letters are really cool, and then I got into calligraphy kind of through that. In high school I did calligraphy. I had like picked up books and thought they were really cool and tried to practice them. I kind of thought I sucked and it was really hard to get good, so I just didn't really focus on it. And then probably like 5 or 6 years ago I realized it was something I really liked. So I kept trying to do it and then bought tons of books on calligraphy and like sought out people who could teach me and mentors, and then 3 years ago started traveling around to different calligraphy workshops around the country. I've always liked art and drawing, but I've always had like a hard time with like portraits and like really realistic stuff. And then when I was little I realized like I would always trace logos and letters and stuff like that, and this all came apparent to me like when I started doing calligraphy, like, oh, this is something I've liked for a long time, I just didn't realize it. But I just always felt like letters were like really fun to write, and then you could also like express things with it like pretty directly. I don't know, I guess when I'm doing calligraphy I'm like most inspired by some of my favorite calligraphy artists from like mostly the golden era of penmanship, so like script writers in like the late 1800s and early 1900s. I kind of just get really motivated thinking about like improving my skills so that I could eventually write like them. Then also have like a huge influence of children's books in mind when I do it, thinking like what did I like when I was a kid and what kind of stuff do I like now, and like what kind of art isn't available to children really now. There's like a style of birds I do that is like pretty much based exactly on script writers from the turn of the century. And it's something that can take anywhere from like a few minutes to like an hour to do one, but I still feel like it's taken me years to figure out how to do them. I don't know, I heard about, it was a Chinese calligrapher, which I don't know much about Chinese calligraphy, but someone asked him how long it took him to do a piece, and he said something like 10 seconds and 27 years. I kind of feel like I can't work on art unless I'm listening to music. Yeah, I always just like put records on that are right next to my desk and like listen to them until they're over, and then I'll go flip them and keep writing. It kind of keeps me in like a clear headspace, I guess. It like tones out everything, so I'm really focused on my art. I like lots of music. I like lots of like slow doomy metal, and then lots of hip hop, and then just dance music, pop music, old blues. Yeah, lots of stuff. I feel like a career with calligraphy is like attainable, because I know a lot of people that do it, and also it's like a really niche market. It's not something that's a huge art form that like everyone does. It's always hard to pick and choose like what you want to do with it. Most of the stuff I like doing is working on like children's stories, and then when I get jobs, it's usually like wedding invitations or something that I like really don't care about like at all. If you were interested in calligraphy and wanted to start, figure out what kind of calligraphy you like first of all. Go to libraries, go online, go to johnneilbooks.com or paperandinkarts.com. They're like calligraphy stores, and you can find like all kinds of supplies, and there'll be like basically if things are on there, they're meant for calligraphers, so you know like it might work. And then there's books you can find. Oh, writing's the best.